So we haven't done a Canon rumors video in some time, and the reason for that is that really there hasn't been anything that exciting. Nope, 2020, 2021, I think that's the year. 2021 really hasn't given us a lot as of yet. But the folks over at Canon Rumors, which is where I kind of go to get a lot of the information for you guys, has talked about two cameras that they are pretty sure will be coming out, especially like first half, maybe in 2021. So if we look over here, two new cameras, and these are, just realize this isn't like an EOS R5 Mark II or anything like that, right? This is more of their cinema line, but I wasn't really sure that that would be a lot or would be of much interest, especially to myself. But depending on price, maybe. So the two cameras here, and probably the big one really, is number one is the rumored EOS C50. And this really, to me, looks a lot like what the Panasonic, their little box camera, was like. So this is going to be the Canon kind of version of it. Box camera, very, very modular, I would think. So you'd have to kind of supply all your own like screens and lenses and all this. RF mount, of course, but really you're buying the brain and then you kind of attach from there and kind of just design it and build it as you want. So it kind of turns into your cinema camera, right? And it's really how, if you look at like Red, for instance, that's kind of what they've done for years, is just kind of start with this brain and then kind of just let people grow on it. So very, very interesting. And that's kind of the first one here. And if you look, they talk about the rumored specs, Super 35mm 4K sensor. So that's okay. I don't mind the Super 35. Gives it a little bit of a crop. I think the Super 35, and I'm not 100% sure. I think it's 1.3 times crop. No IBIS. Would have been nice, but this is more of a little bit of a cinema camera. So RF mount, yeah. Internal 10 stops of ND. So I really like that with an internal ND, which would be blah, 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 which would be awesome. C-Log 2 and C-Log 3, again, really good. Now, here's the thing that I'm a little curious about. So 420 8-bit internally on SD cards. No 10-bit, which is a little weird since the R6, even the R6 has the ability to do 10-bit internally. So little strange there. It does say 422 10-bit externally in HD, but only in HD. So not even in 4K. The internal would be 420 8-bit, 4K 60 and 1080 120, but only 8-bit, and then 422 10-bit external, again, but only in HD, so only in 1080. That's, for me, not a big deal. I don't shoot in 10-bit very often because it's going to YouTube, and nobody looks at YouTube and is like, I wonder if that was 10-bit. I just, the color in that doesn't seem quite 10-bit-ish. It's YouTube. I get it if you're shooting cinema for like broadcast or shooting for, film, etc. Then yeah, sure, I get it. No RAW. Also a little bit of a question mark, right? Because I'm wondering if the processor, if they're doing this to ensure that this camera really doesn't have any overheating issues. I'm wondering if that's where they're going, because they're realizing that if they really pump this up, especially if it's in a small box like we think it's going to be, how is that thing going to cool itself properly? So no RAW, dual LP-E6NH battery slot, so that's pretty cool. So the same kind of batteries as the R5, the R6, the R, etc., all the way back to whenever, the E6. So yeah, really curious. This is kind of the look that they give it right here, the EOS C50. That one would be very, very curious, and depending on the other features like eye detection and all that kind of stuff, and if it had any kind of overheating issues, that would be something that could be a possibility that would probably complement like the R6 really well. But again, it depends on price point, because if this thing's coming in at like $3,000, let's say US, I'd rather just buy another R6, to be honest with you. So we'll see. We'll see for sure. The other camera that they talk about here is the rumor is going to be an updated EOS C200 Mk2. No real specifications at all have been given in regards to that camera. But again, if it is something that they expect that may come out in the first half of 2021, I would expect that we'll start to see a lot more rumors coming out in regards to that camera soon. So really, really interesting to see what we're going to start seeing. I think more in the, I don't want to say budget friendly, because it's not budget friendly. Like 3,000 US or higher is not budget friendly for most of us. But anybody that's really serious into shooting, these could be kind of cool options, especially the C200. That one, depending again on their price. And if the C200 Mk2 comes out and drops the price of the C200 Mk1, that could also just be like, oh, that's right, I said it. Oh. So what do you guys think? If one of these two cameras came out, would they be of interest? Or would you stick with whatever you're shooting? Or if, let's say, a C200 Mk2 came out and the C200 Mk1 dropped in price, would that be of interest? Because that one, I think if the C200 Mk1 dropped, I think it has a lot of the features in it that I would be pretty happy with. So eager to hear your comments. All right, guys, that's the news for today. Oh yes, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that little notification bell. We'll be back tomorrow morning with some more tech reviews, and we'll keep following up on the news that's out there. All right, my friends, we'll see you guys next video. Later.